Ooh, that's a hot tip right there. Like, nobody is successful or fails on their own, right? So it's just like, oh, right. And if I'm supporting you and you're supporting me and we're supporting everyone and we feel responsible for the whole deal, we're either all going to succeed or we're all going to fail. So that's another thing, like, I tucked away in the back of my mind from that one conversation. It's like, and every time I hire or promote someone, I always tell them, listen, some things are going to go easily and some are going to go difficult, but you can't fail in this position. And they always look at me, because if you fail, we all fail. So all we need to do is provide you what you need to be successful in your job. And I'm hiring you because I know you're going to be successful at this job. Otherwise, I would, invite you to go work for one of my competitors, right? Because I don't want people that I don't think are good. And it's easy sometimes when you're hiring people and you get to a point of desperation where, like, you haven't found anyone yet, to take somebody who's like a B- instead of an A. Yeah, just don't do that. Just don't do it. It's so not worth it. Because what ends up happening is they're mediocre, and then you got to hire another person to make up for what they can't. Like, I could just go on. It's like it's drudgery. And then what it does to the community of people that are working around them is it drags down an entire group, because it sets a different level of expectation. So I always tell people that are working for me now, because I don't do the direct hiring anymore, I tell people, only hire people you think are great. If you look at them and you're like, they're good, don't hire them. If they're great, hire them. Otherwise, suffer through it. Because your other great people will get it done. They'll find a way. They always do. That's why you hired them in the first place, or that's why you promoted them in the first place. Okay, so I have 5 more minutes. I got to see what I did not cover here. Do any of you work in a family business? You do?
I have my children working with me.
Okay, you do too?
It's not my family, does that count?
Well, I was going to address something regarding family businesses. And I think you always end up with people in the family who some over-deliver and some under-deliver, and that's really challenging. And the only thing I have to say about that is, in my business, both my brother-in-laws work there, both my sisters work there, I work there, my dad works there. So if you don't have the last name Butrus, or you didn't have it at some point in time, you're not going to be president in my company. And we tell people that when they come in, right? That's how it is. So the good thing about that is that nobody's trying to, like, make someone else look bad so they can get ahead, which happens a lot in bigger companies or highly competitive atmospheres. We have 10 people vying for one job for a promotion. That doesn't happen at my company, which I like. We have this one gal, she's working in our marketing department now. She's in her early 20s. And she started working for us when she was 16. She's the daughter of the guy who runs our warehouse. She needed a summer job. And back then, if someone needed a summer job, things were great. Bring him in, we'll find something for him to do. We could always hire one more person. What's the big deal, right? It's not that way anymore. However, so she's been working for us since she was 16. All the way through college, and when she graduated, she came and she's working for us now. And someone asked her, I wasn't there, of course, but someone overheard the answer and reported it back to me, which I really liked. Of course. So I have spies sometimes, which is really cool. So anyway, actually what happened was somebody said to her out at a public event, do you like working where you work? And she said, yeah. I said, well, how come? And she said, you know what, if I want to walk up and talk to the owner of the company, I can do it just like that. And there's not many companies that you can have immediate access to a meeting with the owner of the company, and that's a hot tip. People love that. There's compensation, there's a way to compensate people, and the first thing that comes to your mind is how much money they make. At my office, that's important, yes. However, not everybody's in sales, so not everyone is earning commission. Some people are on salary, or some people work hourly, and there's other things that are important too. Yes, they want their money, but they also want to be heard, okay? I tell them, I will listen to anything you have to say, and I will try to make it happen, because I want to be a yes person. However, sometimes I can't. the guys in the warehouse wanted air conditioning. I'm like, we're not air conditioning the warehouse. Thank you for asking. I got it that it's hot and I will buy you a big fan. But I'm not air conditioning the warehouse. But he actually felt he could ask me that question, which is fantastic. I'm fine. I'm a big girl. I can say yes and I can say no, and I look to say yes if I can. Another thing that I do that I think is really important is every month I host a special day at the office. It's nicknamed Slurpee Day because the very first time we did it, I went and got Slurpees for everyone. And now I don't go and get Slurpees, I send someone else to go get Slurpees. But
they really make it back and there's still Slurpees? And then just
yeah. There's like 90% Slurpee, 10% you don't know what happened. But you know, they come back with 2 big boxes of Slurpees, and everybody wants a different flavor, and who wants blue mixed with red. It's ridiculous, like we're in kindergarten again, right? But the point is that I could do Slurpee Day for like $25. Like, it's not a lot of money, and I've got 40 people. There are some people who don't want Slurpees, which is fine. I'm not sure what's wrong with them, but that's okay. You know, but we do little things, whether it's every month, whether it's Slurpee Day or one day in the summer when the ice cream truck come, and I pay the ice cream truck driver in quarters. You should see me, like $75 in quarters, because I save my quarters from all year for this particular event. Anyway, so I know it's quirky, but people think it's funny. So anyway. You know, in the summer we'll do Watermelon Day. Okay, so you buy a couple watermelons and cut them up and leave them in the kitchen. You know, you come up with something that works at your office, but I do that for one reason and one reason over, and it's bragging rights, okay? So one of the gals that works in my office is out that weekend with her husband and her friends, and they're out to dinner, and the guy or the gal that they're having dinner with is complaining about their boss. Right? My boss said this, and it was hot at work today, blah, 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 and they're complaining, right? And I just envision in my mind, I don't really know that this happens, but I envision my employee going, we had Slurpee Day this week. Right? That's bragging rights. Like, that's compensation. Because basically what people want is something that gets them ahead in life. They want money, they want good working hours, they want good working conditions. I let people wear shorts to work if they want. If we don't have a customer in, they can wear shorts. It's a big deal to my employees. And then when we do have customers and I ask them to dress nicely, they dress nicely and they're polite, like, because they appreciate it. If somebody needs to come later, alter their schedule by half an hour, I work with people. Like, all of that is part of their compensation. And sometimes letting someone work the hours they want to work is more important than the money. And I'm interested in people working for me for like 20 years, not for 2 years, new job, 18 months, new job, 2 years, new job. I don't want that. And I can't give them a 15% raise every year or a 15% bonus every year, but there's other things I can do, and I highly recommend those kinds of things. And then I have one more point to say. And that is to give compliments freely, but they have to be genuine every time. You can't say, oh my gosh, I love that blue in your shirt. I keep seeing that blue. I gotta get something blue. Just like that. My sister's birthday is today. We went out to lunch yesterday. One of her friends gave her a top that had that blue in it, and she got this blue necklace and blue earrings to go with it. I don't have any of that blue, but by next week, I want that blue. Right? Like, you can see the genuineness in it, and it doesn't take much to do that. But you know how it is when you produce something, you pick something out to wear, you get a new haircut, you buy a new pair of shoes, hopefully you do that a lot. You whatever, paint your house, you buy a new couch. I just got a purple couch. Like, I'm so excited about my purple couch. People come over, I'm like a little kid, they come over, they're like, wow, you got a purple couch. I'm like, sit in it, it's really comfortable. And I make them sit in every piece of new furniture. I make them like, okay, come over here and sit in this one. And I get so excited about it. And when someone says to me, wow, this is really cool, I'm like, I know, I'm so excited. But yeah, like, when I get compliments, I get really excited about it. Or when someone acknowledges something that I've done, I get really excited about it. And so we can't do that enough for other people. And the last thing I'll say is to thank children for playing with you. And this is like a little off topic, but I always thank children for letting me play with them. And what I find is that children are never thanked for the opportunity to be with them. So I always thank them for playing with me. And what I find is that they then begin to thank each other for playing with each other. And I get invited to sit in a prime spot next to someone at the table when I've been playing with the children. I'll look to sit next to one of them at dinner. And I think it trains young people to be thankful, because I think that's missing a lot. So I put that in. All right, so that's my hot personal tip. So I'm at 32 minutes, not bad.
Pretty good.
So again, thank you to Erin and Black Dress Partners for giving me this opportunity. I want to let you guys ask any questions you want, and I'm going to invite Erin, because she's a way better speaker than I am, and at least as smart, and has as much experience as I do, so I'm going to ask her to help answer questions if she has something to throw in. Okay?
Okay, so when you went to work for your dad,
Yeah.
where did you start at sales-wise, and how fast did it get you? How fast did you grow to the 77 million or whatever that amount was?
Yeah, so when I started there, we were at about 22 million.
And you don't often publicize those numbers, right? I know
Yeah.
I had that in some of my marketing, not knowing, and then she's like, maybe not so much.
You know, we have a lot of customers in St. Louis, and people read stuff on the internet, so I don't really talk about it a lot, but I'll give you some generic numbers. So we started at 22 million. That was probably 15, 16 years ago. So in the 90s, running up to 9/11. Okay, so the time shortly before that. Went from 22 to 23.5 million to 29 million to 42 million to 87 million. It was just like insanity. My office at that time looked just like my parents' garage. I had stacks of cases of it was just like we had inventory everywhere. We couldn't move to a new place fast enough because of the speed at which we were growing. Then 9/11 happened. And we got knocked down, and then we started building back up after 9/11, and then the recession started a couple of years ago, and we got knocked back down, and we're now building our way back up. So right now we're hovering around 50 million. We're not at 77. Sometimes I'm like, oh, thank God, because I had no life then. But we have all the systems in place now that we had to put in place then, so that we could handle a $100 million business and not be like pulling our hair out.